Hey everybody, my next guest is the host of Coffee with the Dog that can be seen every day right here on Governor's Comedy Podcast channel. He is also a musician, writer, influencer, and all-around Renaissance man who has just announced, I think just announced it today, that he is running for Congress in 2024. Here he is, the one and only Matt Nappo. How you doing, man?
Good evening, Don. How are you?
Good, man. It's so awesome to have you on.
I'm looking at your guitar. I'm distracted already. I'm looking at that guitar back there. I want to play.
yeah, and I see your guitar, but yours is real. Mine is Wayne's World. This is all a fake.
Oh,
this is the.
I didn't even recognize it.
Yeah,
it's been 30 years, I guess. So
this one, yes, yeah. It's my homage to when the COVID happened and everyone started doing Zoom and doing the podcast from the Zoom. So I wanted to have a background to pay homage to those guys because they're like the first. I mean, it wasn't a podcast they were doing, but it was very close. So they're like the paved the way for all of us.
I was doing what they were doing at the time they were doing it. I was doing public access TV, and then that led into leased access TV, where it's the same kind of thing, except you can buy the time and then you can sell your own commercials and do whatever you want, and they won't censor you. But it was really expensive. Public access is free; anybody could do it. I think even still today you can do that. You can get a public access show, but they control you completely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I remember I had a public access show in the late 90s based out of Riverhead in the Cablevision there. And upstairs in Cablevision, they had a studio and they had a control room and the whole thing. It felt like a real deal, scenario. And we did a couple episodes of our show there. And then it was just at the time I lived out in Brentwood. So it was just it's funny now because I'll travel anywhere. But back then it was like, oh, this is a million miles away to go to Riverhead, and it attracted.
Well, there was one because I was in the Syosset building, and they had one. Where was the other one? Hicksville or something. Public access studio. So you probably could have. I don't know. It was both of them were far for you, though. I guess.
Yeah, but now I'm out here in Manorville, man. But like I'm in Riverhead every day now, and I always pass by that cable. I'm like, hey, man. I wonder if they do still have studio space in there.
I think that by law they have to. I was when you were doing that show late 90s, I was an executive with Cablevision, and by law they have to have that set up it's part of written into the code for cable companies.
I remember that because I had a radio show at WUSB. It was like a college radio show. And this lady named Zabby, I don't know if you know, familiar with that
I know Zabby. She was on my show way back when.
God bless her. I don't even know if she's still with us. I mean, she was
I know.
Older back then, but she took a liking to us in our show, and she's the one that kind of got me there. And I remember her telling because the Cablevision people were pushing back a little bit. And she said, by law, they have a right to have a show and this and that.
Oh, she was an advocate for that. Yeah, she used to go on and read the law on her show. There's a music video of mine from Smith Point Beach from 2000 or so, probably around that time, and she's seen dancing in it. She was really upset. She wanted me to edit her out of that. She was
she was awesome.
Yeah. I hope she's still alive.
Me too. There was been a few times through the years where I looked for her, like searched her out, like on Facebook or something. I haven't been able to find her, but I remember the Zabby and another standout from that time period that did a cable access show was Zenbach.
I'm Zenbach, and you are
Lamar Braxton Porter.
And I take it you're one of the larger heavyweight wrestlers here.
Zenbach, yeah. Friend Bill Capozzi, who used to play with the Rockin' 45s, bass player, he was still friends with Zenbach. I think Zenbach is still around. He's on Facebook. I've seen him, not necessarily in the last couple of years, but I've seen him on Facebook in the time I've been there. I got to check to see if he's still alive, too. Yeah, he was crazy.
I've been good. Yeah, I've been good. I don't want to be good, but I'll be good. I'll be good.
Yeah, he was half alien, half American Indian.
Right, yeah.
Cherokee. He was awesome. But yeah, I mean, so that's cool that you were around at part of Cablevision throughout that time. When I was just kind of getting my feet wet and doing this stuff.
Yeah, I was faking it, trying to be in the corporate world, and I've had a lot of crazy careers in my life, and so that was just one period in my life where I fell into that. There's a really crazy story about that. How I hired myself as a video editor. It was just as the time they were launching Optimum as a brand and cable modems, and they had nobody to do this work. And I kept calling and they kept saying, no, we haven't made a decision yet. We haven't made a decision yet. And I went there one night and just edited video and put it up online. And Charles Dolan, who was the owner and founder, he said, who put this video of News 12 up there? I don't know. Some guy just walked in here and started doing it. I said, well, give him a job. And so I started as a video editor. Within 6 months, I was up the chain into a director position there. So,
Wow.
it was a strange period in my life.
Wow. What were you editing on back then? Like Avids?
A PC with a Miro, no, it was the cheapest thing. Miro capture card, which would probably cost around $500, which was a lot of money in that day, and a very low-powered PC. I mean, compared to today's, and not a whole lot of storage and all that kind of stuff. It was archaic, to say the least.
Yeah, man. I used to edit. I still edit for a living, but back in the day, man, I remember you talk about space, like there wasn't that many external hard drives and things like that. You're basically using whatever the computer gave you. So
Right.
there's been times I would, it was like constantly uploading content, like a piece of video, then taking it out for space,
Right.
then bringing
Yes.
it back in again if I needed it again. It was just
Yeah. And there were lots of plugins because there wasn't QuickTime or any of this kind of stuff like streaming stuff yet. And it was like Vivo plugin, and then there was another one that I can't remember the name of it that was very popular. And then there was MPEG 4 video, and all of it had to be downloaded. So it wasn't really true streaming stuff.
Yeah.
They were doing it to show off the cable modem, to sell cable modems, but it was a whole different time, man. Now I'm going back in my mind. It feels like prehistoric times compared to where we are
But it's
now.
interesting that you use your creativity and your creative side to get you a corporate position.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. I have a very strange resume, and I think anybody who went over it would say this guy is out of his mind nuts. But it's my life. It's
But that's where the Renaissance man part comes in, because you do a lot of different things. You got a lot of irons in the fire, but that's what builds all this kind of experience, and that's why you're such a good podcast host too, because about all different types of things. You've been in these corporate boardrooms, but you've also been in the weeds, as an editor and as a musician, and the experiences that you get by challenging yourself and doing all these different jobs, I think just makes you that much stronger.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember telling people that everything that I learned in all my creative stuff came into play in the corporate world in one way or another. Even the magic stuff, because I was a magician for a while,
Right.
radio show host, all that kind of stuff. All of it lent to managing the department. That I was supervisor for the multimedia services for all of Cablevision's properties, and Cablevision had 27. They had the Wiz, they had Clearview Cinemas, they had all Madison Square Garden, all these properties, and they were all like hungry for content. So we were creating it was really fun from the creative perspective, but I never was good at taking orders or dealing with authority and all that stuff. So, but oddly enough, every time I blew up and I lost my temper at executives, it ended up in getting a promotion, and it wasn't a promotion I wanted. It was
Right.
I don't want more responsibility. I just telling everybody what you're doing wrong, because that's what I do. I tell people what they do wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I can tell you what you're doing wrong all day.
You're doing everything perfect. It's everybody else.
Yeah. So,
I agree, and it's weird because like you talk about blowing up and stuff like that through the years, and there's so many things I think about, even in my own life, and things I've moments I've had that I'm like, man, I could never get away with that in today's culture. There's no way in hell, because even if now I saw a guy get in trouble just for giving somebody a hard look, like just being like, in the boardroom. And then they're like, oh, that's threatening. I was like, that's what, really? He just looked at him.
We need the look interpreter to get in here and tell us exactly what that look meant.
Different times, I feel like, it's not even a political thing for me, but I feel like we definitely are getting softer. People are way more sensitive now, and I don't know if it's because of social media or if it's because the world is smaller now because of the internet and because of all these things. But everybody is ultra sensitive, and that's both sides. Everybody's super sensitive these days.
Absolutely, I call it outrage culture. People go looking for things to get angry about because they don't have a lot to say, and if I can find something to get angry and passionate about, I can go on social media and rant about stuff and write a paragraph or two about stuff that pisses me off. It's like, what am I pissed off about right now? And that's the world we live in. So it's outrage culture, because if even with the comedy stuff, you see people who will intentionally go watch a special that they know they don't like the guy or woman and look for something that they're going to say that they can get outraged by and tweet about or go on Facebook about the next day.
It's true. It's true. And they'll also jump on bandwagon. So, which, if everybody's hating on such and such, well, let me be mad too. And I'll hate such and such also. And then, like you said, that leads to, let me watch this Netflix special or what have you, and just to be angry about it. Like,
can I share my Jason Aldean conspiracy theory with you?
Yeah,
about the outrage with Jason Aldean. He's got
he sang the song.
Try That in a Small Town.
Yeah, Try That in a Small Town.
Yeah. In all fairness, I have some dealings with them. Back in 2013, I was talking to his people, trying to sell them songs. I know these people who manage him and his career. They released a song in May. It didn't do well. It wasn't cracking the top 40, and it was languishing. And I definitely believe that the calls came from inside the house. His publicist, his record company, all the people, his management, got people together to get outraged by it. Now, they present it to the left as, look at this thing, he's got racist and he's got violent stuff in it. The left says, yeah, it does, because they look at the video and then they say they get shocked about it.
When the imagery invoked race, that's what was...
There's no reason to separate big city people from small town people. That, to me, is the divisive part of this song.
The right now reacts to the left saying, look, they're trying to cancel it. Now the song's moving up. It's #1 on the Apple charts a week later, and it's breaking the top 40 now.
Despite the backlash, Aldean's song is topping the charts since being released on May 19th. It's gotten over 3.8 million Spotify streams, and it's #1 on iTunes top songs and music video charts as of yesterday morning.
The thing is, if I were Jason Aldean, I would want my record company doing that, because they're looking out for him. They're just trying to get him a hit any way they can. And that's what you would want as an artist. So I can't really fault him, but I really can't fault them, because it's business. At the end of the day, it's all about trying to sell. If
what you say is true, then they're working the machine. They're
right.
The joke's on us, so to speak.
Exactly.
Us being society, because we fell into it.
Right.
So, like, the fake outrage has now cycled itself
into real outrage,
making this guy, real outrage, but made this guy now have the #1 song. He's got now a loyal following. You know how many people said, I never even heard of this guy before this, but now I'm going to go buy his record, or I never heard of this guy now, but I hate him, whichever side it was. But now he's known. Now he's a household name.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't like he was on the downside. He was in 2013 when I was talking to his people and trying to sell them music. They were on the upside. He had won some Grammys and country music awards and that kind of stuff.
This is one of the best nights of my professional career, and thank you guys very, very much. I love you. Thank you.
But he was hungry for a hit, and that's why he wrote the song. He thinking it's patriotic and the Toby Keith booting your ass type of mode, and it would have been a hit in those days, and now it's a hit for manufactured reasons. And again, I don't blame them. I do blame them for not having a conscience about the overall effect on society that kind of stuff has. But
Right.
if I were him, I would be thanking them. I would be calling them and saying, "Thank you for giving me my career back."
Exactly. And it's weird how that works. And we're seeing it like even with even with I have a feeling I know what your politics are. You're not really a Trump guy, but if you look at the Trump stuff, the more he gets indicted, the more his popularity goes up and his numbers go up. It's similar to the country guy, Aldean.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think, you know what, RFK Jr., same thing is happening. We're seeing every time somebody pushes back, their popularity grows in a lot of ways. And so, you know what, when you say I'm not a Trump, I've never been for a president in my lifetime, never been for any politician in my lifetime.
Right.
And
You,
I don't like the whole cult mentality where Trumpers will get upset if I use that word, but Obama had a cult too. Clinton had a cult. Reagan had a cult. Bush didn't have a cult. Bush, everybody considered Bush a moron. But I mean, even people who were supportive of him
right.
knew he was not the brightest, and he didn't have a cult following. But every other president since Reagan has had that cultish following, that just idolization of personality rather than really looking at the issues or any of that stuff. So yeah,
And
cult of personality.
Yes, indeed, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think there is a cult like vibes going on with a lot of these different camps. We definitely see it with Trump, and we definitely seen it with Obama for sure. People fainting and crying at the sight of him and things along those lines. And it's and they're not listening, or really, it's not always about the issues and the policies. It's about the person, and then they'll stand behind them no matter what.
Right. It's almost never about issues and policies. And this is my real problem with people who feel like they need to get involved, but don't really ever read bills, don't ever do a deep dive in anything, and don't know really about the issues. They look at the surface level of the issues and just decide, I'm for this, I'm against that, and I'm on this team. And they get angry over stuff that is, again, it's manufactured outrage, whether it's Fox News or MSNBC or CNN, all of them. Ratings are built on it. Nobody wants to watch and fall asleep. They want to get you pumped up about something, and that's their job. But people take it hook, line, and sinker and then run with it. Now I have something to tweet about if I can remember what Tucker said last night.
Exactly. I got all my talking points, but hold on, let me say they're all Sean Hannity's or whoever. But yeah, it's I think those shows are like really part of the polarization, obviously, because I think we're all kind of brainwashed to a degree, right? And the one thing we get to choose is which way we want to go. Do you want to go MSNBC, CNN, or you want to go Fox News and what's the other one? Newsmax. So, and then you decide, okay, I want to go this way, and then all of a sudden the outrage sets in. Oh, the right wing, or the right wing is this, and this, and then you watch the other channel. Oh, the left wing is this, and this, and then now you hate your neighbor, and you hate people if they got an American flag, or you hate somebody if they got green hair and piercings. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just we're in a weird time, man.
Well, this is part of the reason I am running. It's about that. It's about, because I believe if you look at all these issues, and I do a deep dive on all this stuff, and I believe Democrats and Republicans in truth are not that far apart. There is compromise to be made. We're just not taking the time to do it because we're busy doing dog and pony shows and seeing these Congress people, especially in Congress and the Senate, trying to audition for Fox News or CNN every night. They're looking to get FaceTime during the day, so they say something outrageous so that their host will have them on that night. And and they're not working on the issues. But coming back to compromise, they're not that far apart. As Americans, we all want the same thing. We want healthcare reform. We want immigration reform. We want safe gun laws that, we don't want a gun grab. We want to keep crazy people from committing crazy, mass murders and things like that. We all want those things, and there is compromise to be made. And the beautiful thing about the American system, I'm on a soapbox now, is that if something doesn't work, we have the ability to undo it and go back and try something different here. But we're not compromising because we're selling candidates every day. They're all looking for television time. Put me on TV. Let me just say something that will get people fired up. And every day it's hearings about stuff that doesn't have to do with inflation, doesn't have to do with cost of living, doesn't have to do with clean energy, it doesn't have to do with immigration reform or healthcare reform. None of that. It's all about, let's get the other guys and make them look bad. That's what it's all about.
It's a lot of gotcha type politics, and like you said, it's
show business.
It's showbiz, and that's again goes towards the point we made about all these news outlets. But so now you're legit. Your name.
Yeah, I filed in June 24th. The quarter ended July 1st, so I had to file a financial disclosure for my campaign. Here's the deal. My campaign is this, and people are like, you can't win. Well, maybe that's true, and it's possible, but my campaign is to make a point that I'm running on a no money campaign. I'm not taking any donations. I'm not spending any money. So my first quarterly report was all zeros. And the FEC called me and said, what's with all these zeros? I was like, I'm not taking any money. I don't want money. I'm not spending money other than the coins I have in my pocket. If I need a flyer printed, I'll go to Office Max and pay for it myself. That's what I'm going to do.
Wow.
That's unheard of. Yeah, well, that's the problem in America, is because I think both parties would agree that special interest money and dirty money is the biggest problem in politics, because once somebody puts $5 million in your account so you can run for office, who are you going to serve? Joe Blow down the block, who you promised you were going to work on all these issues for, or the person who put $5 million in your account and has a issue coming up they want you to vote yes or no on?
Right.
You're going to serve them. It's just human nature. And I just think that to make that point of I'm running a no money campaign, I'm running in the 3rd district in New York, which is George Santos. George Santos, I expect to be in jail. The Democrats lost badly to George Santos. So what other options do they have? I'm running as an independent in between a guy who's going to be in jail and somebody who just got slaughtered by the guy who's in jail. I think I have a chance.
I think
and my motto is, you voted for worse.
I love the slogan, you voted for worse, and it holds true, because we all saw what happened with Santos.
Yeah.
And I do think there's something really cool about the fact that you're not trying to raise any money or take any money. This way you can't be bought. You can't, like you said,
exactly.
you can't be swayed, because money can sway people one way, like even if they don't want to be. If somebody, like you said, if somebody's giving you $5 million, you might go, all right, what do you want me to do? Maybe. I'm not saying that's you, but I'm just saying in human nature is to do that. So I think that's big, just out of the gates for you to say, hey, I'm coming from a real place. I don't want money. I'm not going to be swayed. I have my beliefs, and you're not changing them.
Right. That, and also all the waste. Listen, when people raise all this money, I'll ask you, have you ever changed your mind on who you're going to vote for based on a television commercial or a radio commercial? Like if a commercial came on and said, vote for somebody you don't like, or you don't like, would that change your mind?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Would a road sign, when you go down the block and you see these signs, vote for blue, vote for red, all along this, does that change your mind? Those cost big bucks. That's where your money's going. It's going into plane rides and all that kind of stuff. I got a van. I will drive to the district. I will go shake hands with people. I have a Zoom call. I could I have a podcast where I can stream my message out. I don't need to buy television time. I don't need to buy flyers. I don't need to buy road signs. All of that crap that they get caught up in, unnecessary. I don't need a jet. I don't need plane tickets.
This election, your choice couldn't be more important. Our candidate is in flattering lighting and full bright color. Their candidate is in grainy high contrast black and white, spotted through a telephoto lens from behind a bush, coming back from God only knows where. Our guy points at the horizon and holds a baby. Their guy doesn't have a baby. Their guy has a golf club. Here's a photo of our guy saluting military veterans. Jump cuts, flashes, static, aggressive colors. You can't trust a guy with graphics like this.
Are you a Are you going to have a campaign team, or are you pretty much a one-man show?
I have one guy who wants to be my campaign manager. He's a friend. He's a businessman, and he does well. But he didn't wrap his head around the idea that no, we're not taking any donations. Even if somebody offers donations, I'm not taking them. I'm not soliciting them. And if somebody offers them, no, that will make it dirty, just as you said. And it's not. It is human nature. It's not me. It's not them. I'm not saying those people are evil. Somebody pays for your way. You are beholden to them. And the other part of it is 2 years is not enough for them. They want to keep getting elected. Listen, in reality, you can't get anything done in Congress in 2 years, especially as a one-term person. You're still learning the job. Right. So it takes several, and where is the line with term limits that we want to cut it off and when we trust the people who have the job to say, I'm cutting off my own job after 8 years. You can't, trust them to make that decision. I'm promising. I'm only running once. I'm going in like Jesus to overturn the tables of the money changers in Congress and stand on the floor of Congress and call them all out and say, you're beholding to this one. You're beholding to that one. I'm beholding to nobody. We need more people like me. I'm not qualified. I mean, it doesn't matter where I stand on gun control, abortion, any of these issues. I'm not going to be here long enough to write any bills. I'm just here to tell you, get to work on the things that the American people want you to work on, and stop with the daily hearings about stuff just to get people angry and worked up.
Nice. So your mission as a congressman is to kind of get into the fold and then let them know, hey, you guys are doing it wrong.
Right.
We got to do
I'm
it.
Gonna be my Cablevision pitch. Right. Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. Piss them off and basically call them out. And, say, you know what? First of all, the two-party system, I don't know if you're aware of this, but for Republicans or Democrats to accept you, they demand you raise enough money to get on the ballot. Right away, they're telling you, we not only accept dirty money, we demand you take in dirty money.
Right.
So, and I call it dirty money because it's always serving somebody. If they give you that money, in their mind, they are buying influence of politicians. And so I won't accept any of it. I think we need more of that. Now, I'm not a dreamer that thinks we're ever going to get completely rid of it, but I think to set an example that it could be done, it will get a lot more people around America demanding that people are held accountable for who they're getting their money from, being transparent about it, who gave me money, and then let me see how you voted on the issue that affected the people who gave you the money.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that no matter what your politics, you can appreciate the reality of it, and without getting all left, right, any of that stuff, straight down the middle, man. Get to work on these issues. Again, they make it seem like there is no compromise here, that we are so far opposed. The truth is, on all these issues, there is compromise to be had if we can get people to sit down and work on it and say, listen, we'll try it for 2 years. If it doesn't work, we'll be back here to vote it out. I mean, America has always been a pendulum. If we're going too far to the left, it always kicks back to the right. If we're going too far to the right, it always kicks back to the left. I want to keep it right in the middle. Slow down. Leave it right here.
Yeah, I agree. And I think most people that you talk to are in the middle. Some might lean a little left, some might lean a little right, but most people are in the middle, like you said. And most people want to compromise. Most people want peace. And that makes me wonder about these fringe politicians that, we have both sides. We have the crazies on both sides. And you wonder if they want it this way.
Well, for personal reasons, of course they want it this way. Again, being that outrageous person will get them noticed by the hosts of whatever side they're pitching to, so that they can get on television that night, keep FaceTime to get elected again and again. They're not interested in $174,000 that Congress pays. That's not enough. They want that special interest money coming in, getting rich. All of them are millionaires and multimillionaires. For me, $174,000 a year, I'll work hard for it. I mean, I'm already too old to make a career out of it anyway. I don't want a career out of it. But if you pay me $174,000 a year, you'll see me busting my butt for that for 2 years that I'm there, and you'll get every penny's worth out of me. And I'm not going to seek anything more like insider trading deals and voting on legislation, then knowing what I should invest in, and all that kind of crap. But those people, when you say, do they want it this way? They don't necessarily want it this way, but for themselves, they want to say outrageous things so that they can get on television, so that they can get reelected again and fill the beast, feed the beast. And
Right.
it's disgusting. It's terrible the way where we're at.
It is,
Like,
and
modern day Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt would say the same things that I'm saying, and which is why he ran as a Republican. He was a president as a Republican. Then he said, "The hell with the Republicans! I'm starting my own Bull Moose party," and he lost because he was saying exactly what I'm saying. I don't want to be president. I don't. I just want to go in and draw some attention to the money issue and the constant wanting to be reelected and the outrage culture that they're building within politics now. And I think if we can get it back to compromise, working on things, sometimes that means your side is going to take a little less, but if you can get a little more here on this issue, and we'll try things, see what's working and what's not working. A couple of years, we'll be right back here and vote on it again and see if we can change it and make it better. That's how businesses work. That's how life works. Yeah. In your family, you make the decisions that way all the time. Like you make it your best educated guess. If something doesn't work out, you go the other way. It's
exactly
not that difficult.
I think you have a really strong chance of getting there and earning this Congress seat, because I think, especially on Long Island, I think there's the whole everyone on Long Island is you. We're all the same, right? We're all these working class, everyman type of people, salt of the earth people here in Long Island, and you're saying a lot of the things that we all say. And the fact that you're not going to be interested in any kind of money or things like that just kind of sets the tone for who you are. And then when you start to get into this whole thing where, look, I want middle ground, I think you're speaking to a lot of people that feel that way. And I'm hoping that because you see that guy in New Jersey, I think a couple of years ago, he got he's a motorcycle guy, and he got I think he's a senator or his Congress, I forget, but Congress. he's the same kind of person as you. You know what I'm saying? He's a regular guy from a regular town where everybody kind of agreed with.
Hello, my name is Edward Derr. I'm running for New Jersey State Senate. I've lived here all my life, raising my 3 kids. We deserve better. New Jersey, it's time for a change. So together, let's end single-party rule. Vote for me, Edward Derr, for Senate.
And so I do think that there is a really strong, I think you could really rally the troops, and there's a really strong chance that you could make this happen. You could bring this to light.
Only because of the special situation that we find ourselves in, that both parties in that area, in that district, are lost for candidates. The Republicans are going to run George Santos, even if he's in jail, which is, that makes him dead meat. And the Democrats have not picked a candidate yet, but their primary is full of the same people that ran against Santos last time. So it's like a special situation where an independent has a road ahead of them that is pretty favorable. And the problem with me is people react to me. They hear me on the show in the morning, and they hear me say stuff about Trump, and they assume I'm a Biden guy. But then people who hear me say stuff about Biden think I'm a Trump guy. And the truth is, I am an older person. I'm 60. I'm going to be 64 next month. And nice. I'm already experiencing lots of senior moments where, oh man, what was my best friend's name again? That kind of stuff. So I see both Biden and Trump as way too old to be president. I mean, I think 70, and I'm saying 70 because I'm now 64. I don't have any aspiration to be president, but I think 65, 70, somewhere in this range that I'm in right now is enough to say, listen, if you're older than that, all of us are going to experience cognitive decline at that age. No matter if you're headed for Alzheimer's or not, you're going to decline. And so you're not. I want to see somebody under 100 years old. And I feel like I'm probably too old. I'm at the point where I'm starting to question, what age do I give up my driver's license at? Now, I'm not there yet.
Right, yeah.
But I know, because I drove in the car with my grandfather, I saw how, nobody was comfortable.
Yeah. A lot of people holding on to the dashboard here.
You have to be real. I mean, you can't. I'm not trying to be an ageist here, and I know that some people. My mom was really sharp when she was 86, but she did have Alzheimer's. She would do, I'm not kidding, 13 crossword puzzle books. We were constantly going out to buy crossword puzzle books every day, like a stack of them, and she'd finish them all. But she didn't remember my name. She didn't remember my brother's name, all that kind of stuff. It's part of getting old, and we have to be honest about that. Old people, I love them. I work in nursing homes. I was at one today playing for people. I know what age does to people and to your brain, and you should not be running a country at that age, at 80, because that's what both Trump and Biden are.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I think we definitely need some new blood, and I don't think you're too old. I think I think once you get into the 70s, that's when you start to tread on those waters. I think you're good, and you're sharp as hell. I watch your show all the time. You're super sharp guy. You're definitely winning me over to want to vote for you for this. Because I'm out here too. I'm in Manorville. I know you're in Shirley. But
the 3rd district is not. You can't really vote for me. 3rd district is Huntington. It's Bethpage. It's North Hills, East Hills, all that kind of Glen Cove, that area.
Okay.
George Santos is my neighbor. He ran in that. This is a problem too. You should have to live in the district, but you don't, and that's why I'm running there. I would be running here.
Right.
But because I saw an opening that here you got Santos against somebody who couldn't beat Santos.
Right.
So it's like the Mets against the Ducks, and I.
Is it just the three of you right now currently running?
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to debates? Do you think you'll be able to have a debate with Santos and the,
I don't
who's
think
the other?
So far the candidate hasn't been named on the Democrat side, but it's probably going to be the same. I think Sarah Ackerman, something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. That sounds right. So,
but yeah, I don't think he wants to debate or is open for debates. He's kind of he has a platform. He has his social media stuff, but he also has access to television, because anytime he wants to make a statement, that now, because of who he is, people will go there with cameras. So he has no reason to debate it, because he knows he doesn't really have a good footing on any of the issues, or doesn't have a plan. He's fallen into that money thing. And money is, he got $500,000 in his campaign, and where did it come from? His father and his aunt.
Yeah, it's a little.
Yeah,
there's a lot of question marks with that guy, and he's kind of notorious now as a liar and all kinds of stuff. He's definitely tainted for sure with fraud and money laundering and theft of public funds and all kinds of false statements. He's definitely tainted. That's why I think that gives you a really strong edge coming in, and especially being the every guy.
Yeah, a friend of mine. Well, I'm not a friend. Somebody who's been a guest, an acquaintance of mine, who's a comedian. He's far right, but he ran for Congress in St. Louis, where he is in Missouri, near the St. Louis area, and he came within 10,000 votes of winning. He's a comedian. Heavy beer drinker. He does a comedy show, and he's heavy Missouri Christian. I don't know if you know about Missouri, but Missouri is a really strange state. They're the porn capital of the United States, but they're also the Christian religious capital of the United States.
Wow.
And he's in both of those camps. He spends all week at the porn store and then Sunday at church.
There you go.
But he came within 10,000 votes of winning because he had a similar situation. A congressman or congresswoman who was in trouble and ethics violations and all that stuff, and then somebody who couldn't beat a congressman who had ethics violations, and he saw an opportunity and came close. So it gives me. But you know what? If I don't win, if the most important thing is that people take notice of the no money situation and the issues that I want to kind of spotlight and highlight that I think are the real problems. And if I can get that noticed by enough people, I feel like I'm a success. If I win, that would be even better. I would love that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is awesome. So do you have a campaign strategy, or are you just going to kind of stick it to like the internet?
I'm going to go to
social
every
media?
public event starting even in this fall. I'm going to go to every public event, supermarket, shake hands with people, pass stuff out, and then I'm going to do a lot of my own personal push on social media, not using a whole lot of advertising dollars, any of that stuff, but using the audience that I have to say, share this, putting together specific videos. And that's why this morning I did the two reasons I'm running for, which I just explained to you. That video goes out tomorrow, and I'm going to start to push that around. Why am I running? Well, that makes sense. I think both sides, left and right, they hear why I'm running and they say, yeah, that makes sense. And again, I got more and more videos about explaining where I am. You don't really care what my thoughts are on abortion. I'm not going to have time to write any legislation on it. I'm not even going to have time to do any of those kind of things. What I'm going to have time to do is to fix the broken engine that will propel us into the future and say, stop being cheerleaders and all that stuff. That's my plan. So I don't have to do a whole lot of explaining where my ideology comes from, because it is very straight down the middle. I'll give you an example on abortion. I spent a lot of years in autopsies, doing child autopsies. Gave me and some of those were abortion, some of them were miscarriages, some of them were children that were actually born. It gave me a really strong perspective on when life begins, and I do believe life begins at much earlier than the actual birth. I do think there is a human being inside the womb.
Like second trimester or from conception?
Yeah, in there, somewhere in there, but I don't know where that line is. And I do think at some point we have to draw the line to say it's alive. And now this is for doctors and people. But ultimately, I do believe it's the woman's right to choose. Now, where does that woman's right to choose? And definitely before the child is a viable, people make up these ideas about infanticide going on where they're actually post-birth abortion. There's none of that going on. But at that point, obviously, that's murder. If a child is born and somebody says, kill it,
right,
that's infanticide, that's murder. But ultimately, it is a woman's right to make that own choice for herself. And you know what? As much as I am pro-life, I am pro-choice the same way. I am pro-life. I want every child to have a chance to live if that is what the mother chooses for it. But I can't see putting a mother in jail because she chooses not to have the child. The issue to me is not abortion. It's unwanted pregnancy. That is the and so if we make sex education, now people are going to rebel against this idea. Make sex education mandatory 2 years for all junior high school kids, thorough sex education, talking about abstinence, talking about protective measures, talking about birth control, all these kinds of things. And then give them a sense of what being a parent is all about so that they feel like they see the burden. We cut down on unwanted pregnancies, and then we make it, part of the situation is males get off easy on this when the child is born, like making child fathering a mandatory thing, because they talk about, we'll put the mother in jail. No, put the father in jail. That will stop guys from getting girls pregnant immediately.
Exactly.
If you say put the father, now I'm not saying that, but if we put that kind of extra responsibility on the man side of it, I think we'll have less unwanted pregnancies, and that's what we all really want. We don't, abortion is just a symptom of the real problem, which is, unwanted pregnancies. We need to cut that out. We need to support birth control stuff beyond the, Christian stuff, the rhythm method, all that nonsense that they want to enforce on people. Birth control pills, if that's the way, condoms, abstinence, all of that should be on the table, and it's a personal choice.
Right
Talk
on.
about freedom, right?
Yeah. I
Sorry
agree.
to get on the soapbox here. I have strong opinions about this stuff, but my strong opinions are not left and right. They're straight that, try to see both sides of it and then come up with stuff that actually works for people.
And that's the freedom of being an independent, because I'm an independent also. And you don't have to be a part of one team, so to speak, or the other. You could be free to think how you want to think and say what you want to say, whether the right's going to get mad or the left's going to get mad. So this is me. I'm an independent thinker. And again, that's another strength I think that you're bringing to the table with this.
Well, hopefully some people will be open-minded enough to listen to it. Again, people hear me and they draw conclusions about where I stand based on one statement, because I might say, like, one morning I might be on, like, Biden's just feels to me like he's just way beyond obvious cognitive decline, and people will, oh, you must be a Trumper. No, I'm not. And then they'll hear somebody else will hear me say something about Trump, and they'll, oh, you must be a Biden guy. No, I'm not.
Right. It's
I
not
want
cut and
another
dry,
choice
right.
all my life, and this is since I got the vote in 1978. First presidential election was 1980. I had choices between two people who were considered the lesser of two evils. I want a choice of the better of two goods.
Exactly.
For once in my life, give me two people where I can't decide because they're both so good.
Exactly.
Is that possible?
I don't know if we'll ever see the day of that. I hope so. I hope so. Because I think that the way we vet our presidents, we go so deep into their closets that I think it scares off some great leaders.
Yeah, nobody who really would do well in the job and would serve the country well wants the job. That's the problem,
right? Right. Exactly.
But we got to stop. It started with John Kennedy. And this whole idea of celebrity rock star, because it was very apparent with Clinton going on Arsenio Hall and playing the saxophone and trying to be that rock star. But Reagan was an actor, and all of this, celebrity president. We don't need a celebrity president. We need somebody who's a practical mind. And for people will say, well, Trump was that. No, Trump was a celebrity. He was the apprentice guy. Come on. He always considered himself a star. That he was always about publicity and stardom and all that stuff. We just don't need any more celebrity presidents, any more people who are basing it off of their personality. We need somebody with good ideas and willing to make tough decisions and do things the right way and understands compromise. You have to, for all our bashed Reagan here, he did work with the left a lot he was open to compromise. And I think that's what we need in our leaders, without a doubt.
True indeed. Yeah. Well, Matt Nappo, how could people get involved? Also, if you ever want to share any of your stuff, I'm on the Matt Nappo bandwagon. I want to help you share the campaign and all that stuff. So anything I could do to help, let me know. I'd be more than happy to.
I definitely will do that. I mean, all I ask of people is to share my social media posts where I will be writing about exactly the very narrow scope of what I'm trying to do. Again, I use a biblical reference. I'm not really a big religious person, but I want to be like Christ in turning over the money changers' tables and just getting people mad at me enough to say, this guy's a troublemaker. I want them to be mad enough to want to kill me and then get out before they do.
Perfect. And remember, everybody, you voted for worse.
You did. You voted for a lot worse. Plenty of time.
Yeah. So good luck with that. I'm definitely on board with you, man. And anything I could do, I'll definitely share away and help out in all those ways. Also, let everybody know where they can find you, follow you, and be a part of it.
MindDogTV.com is the best place to follow the morning show. And then I'm on Governor's Network every morning, 9 to 11. My band, the Rockin' 45s, is around Rockin' 45, therockin45s.com. No G in that, Rockin' 45s. And 45 is the number, numerals. And we play around Long Island a lot, so that's where I'll be. And then, I do a lot of solo work as well, doing around local taverns and stuff like that, West Hampton Brewery and Daisy's, and acoustic shows, just myself. So
Nice.
All of that.
Thank you so much, Matt Nappo. You're the best. Everybody follow him. He's going to be running for Congress. It's 2024. It's coming up. It be November of 2024, I imagine.
Yeah.
So you got a long run ahead of you for this campaign, and we'll be there to help support you every step of the way. And
don't offer me any money.
And don't offer him any money. Just follows, likes, subscriptions, and
tell your friends about it, and share even if you're not in my district. This is the message I would have for people: talk to your congressperson and say, how much money are you taking and who are you getting it from? That's what I want most to come out of all of this. Ask your congressperson where they're getting their money from.
Excellent. Matt Nappo, everybody. Thanks so much for taking the time, Matt. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. A lot of fun. Sorry, I fell for the Wayne's World thing.
It's all good.